What's happening? This is Djordje, your friendly neighborhood bullfiddle cat, and welcome to the 17th episode of the Slapstream with Djordje, live from Slapsville. And I have to say, I'm super excited about this particular episode because for the first time, I have a chance to interview a real legend, somebody that influenced my playing, and not just mine, like tons of other bass players all over the world, even like some of them are not even aware of that, but he did, trust me. That's the guy that recorded lots of legendary songs back in the 50s with EDDIE COCHRAN. And it's not that he just played with Eddie, he played also with Glenn and Johnny Burnett and quite a few other guys. And before I introduce him, I would like to remind you that I really appreciate your support. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check out these few support links below. We have a PayPal and Venmo and Patreon, so please check out Patreon. And before further ado, I would like to introduce Connie Guybos Smith. Welcome.
Hi there.
Hello. And it's not just Guybo, it's his wife, Marilyn. Welcome as well. She's going to help us out, like remember all these little details that all these fans wanted to know. So I really appreciate you found time to do this. How are you doing? How have you been doing like during this crazy times this year?
We're surviving. It's boring though.
It is.
We'd like to get out.
There's no music.
Yeah. We used to have music in Fullerton where we live. They have music every month, downtown. They close off the streets and have a band every Thursday. And we get to go see bands play all the time, but with this virus thing, we can't do nothing.
I know, and you're still in Bell Gardens, right?
No, Fullerton. We're in Fullerton now.
Fullerton. Okay. I met you at the Bell Gardens at that Cochran's Club, I guess, like last year or year before. When you played, that was a really, really cool show. I wanted to ask you, like, how did you start playing bass, and what was your how did you get interested in upright bass?
I believe I started bass when I went to junior high school, and I was in the orchestra, and I don't know how I picked it out, but it just happened. And it was good for me, I think. And hello, I'm still. Yes, I would carry the bass home on the weekends and try to play different because in the band, we would play music, have to read the music. It was a new struggle for me. Well, we got it done.
So in the orchestra, you had to read music in that. So you know how to read music?
Not now. I forgot. But Marilyn was in the orchestra too. She was a fiddle player.
Oh wow! Okay.
Violin.
It was a violin, yeah.
To me, it's a fiddle, but her is a violin.
Yeah. And our bass is bull fiddle, right?
Yeah.
Is that where you guys met?
Yes.
In the orchestra. All right. So music brought you together.
It did.
And is that where you met EDDIE COCHRAN as well, like in school?
Yeah, he moved to town and started the school the same year we did in 51. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Early 50s.
Yeah, we're still here. I'm just like sometimes soloing you, to feature whatever you want to say. So he moved, and you became friends and started playing immediately.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't remember everything, but yeah, we started playing, and we would play. Yeah, I was playing the steel guitar at that time, because I just started the bass. But yeah, we would play like a store opening or something. Way back in the day, that's what happened. We would stand up on a flatbed truck. That was our stage back in those days. But it was different.
And what kind of music were you playing?
More country, I believe. Started country stuff.
Yeah, there was not really rock and roll back in '51, right? Except maybe Bill Haley.
We weren't rocking yet. No.
No. When did you start rocking?
I don't know. It's in the early 50s, I guess. 50s.
56.
56, 55, 56. Must have been 56.
So you were playing with Eddie like ever since from 51 until 56. You just switched the styles. Were you playing also with Cochran brothers or?
No, I didn't. I never went with the Cochran brothers because I stayed in school and Eddie got out of school and went to play with Hank Cochran. That wasn't his brother, but it had the same name. But then, so then I didn't see him for a while. But then when he come back from singing with Hank, and then I think I was almost through school by then. And then, I stopped school in 56, and we had a job to go to Vegas and play for a couple of weeks in Vegas. So we went over there and I played the upright bass there. Yeah, I had bought one from this music store in Bell Gardens, and that's what I had to play, and we played that. And
yeah. So when you played those live shows with him, were you usually playing upright bass or bass guitar as well?
Just at the first, we was the upright because I could carry it in my car, and we could. I didn't get the electric till we started going on a tour on a bus tour with different bands. That's when I got the electric bass and the amp there.
And when you play in the upright, were you using how would you usually amplify it? Were you using an amp at all or not?
No, we didn't have. That was before. We never played. I didn't play that much. It was outside or in a building, but we didn't have amp on the bass back then. I know everybody does now, but back then it was just slap it harder, I guess.
Well, I guess so. So it was completely acoustic with the drummer and everything.
Yeah.
Wow. Were people able to hear you at all?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there, right?
They were loud. Yeah.
Well, I bet. So I mean, I cannot even imagine how those like that. That might be super wild and crazy back in those days, like playing rock and roll for young kids and have like some completely new sound. And it's that period of time always influenced me. It kind of like made me move to US as well. I completely moved here just because of American rock and roll. So but on recordings you were mostly playing upright bass, right?
Yeah, at first, yeah, because that's all I had. I didn't have the electric until a couple years later, I guess.
Okay.
When we did Summertime Blues, I had the electric then. But because we were going to be going on a tour, and we couldn't carry the big bass because we weren't alone. We were in a group tour. You know, when we went on a tour, we was with other people too, so other bands. So there wasn't room.
Understand. So it was never. So Eddie Cochran never toured like a headlining tour just by himself.
No, we would play different. No, not a real tour. No. Well, we went to Oklahoma one time, and we took the band that helped him there at the end, the saxophone and the piano player. Those guys. We went to Oklahoma on a tour, and we had a Ford station wagon and a U-Haul, and 5 guys, I think. That was a trip.
Oh, I bet.
I'm sure we played some places in between here in Oklahoma, but I know that I was as far as we went, and then we come back home, I guess. But yeah, that was a long time ago too.
And when he was touring, like further away outside of the country or New York, or so, you were not touring with him.
Well, when we went from LA to New York on a bus and made a lot of stops. That was the biggest one. It was the biggest show of stars at 57. Mm-hmm. We started in, I guess, Hollywood was the first stop, and then we went up the coast, across into Canada, then down into Denver, and then somehow we ended up in New York. But this, a couple of times we flew, just me and Eddie would be flying. Like maybe we came home, I think, from New York. But that's when I had my electric then, though, so it wasn't as heavy then as it is now, though, the bass.
What did you prefer to play, upright or electric?
I like them both, but just for the transportation deal, we just done the switch to the electric.
Did Eddie Cochran had any preference? Did he like more upright or electric, or was it just because of the transportation?
I guess he liked them both. I guess because but I say in the recording, we had the microphones on the bass, but that, like I say, there was never no amplifier for my upright bass. Mm-hmm. And nowadays everybody has one.
It's necessary. Yeah, absolutely. All kinds of stuff exists now. Do you remember how were you recording upright bass back in the studio?
I had a mic on me.
Okay. Like close to the one microphone or 2 microphones? Too long ago?
I believe one.
Okay.
For the bass, yeah.
Close to the F hole, or?
I can't tell you. It's,
okay.
Like I say, it's been forever. But it picked up. It picked up the sound.
Yeah, that's the important part. I interviewed Marshall Lytle from Bill Haley's band a few years ago before he passed, and then he told me that they always used 2 microphones, one microphone for slap and one microphone for tone, and then the engineer would mix them up.
Okay. Well, yeah. I don't remember 2, but maybe there was.
Yeah. So were you playing lots of slap bass, or it was kind of combination pizzicato and slap? And
yeah, it was a combination, I guess. It wasn't all slap, because it has some slow songs we don't slap on, but it was. But my slap is not like your slap.
Well, my slap is influenced by your slap, so thank
Okay.
you for that. Absolutely, and not just mine. You know, like lots of, I mean, thousands of bass players all over the world. Do you remember if Eddie Cochran had any preference as far as slap bass go? Did he like it one way or another, or like did you guys talk about it at all, or you had your own freedom to find like, all right, whatever I want to play?
No, I think he probably picked which one to play, which songs, because like I say, I always drove to the recording studio, and because like I say, he lived about 2 miles from me, so we went. I drove, and we went up to the studio all the time together, and sometimes Marilyn went with us.
Yeah, that was fun.
I'm sure. Do you have any memories that you want to share from back then?
I just remember about the picking the riffs they played. That they practiced a long time on what they were going to make it, what riff they were going to play. And they had to decide which one they liked the best. And sometimes it took them forever to figure it out. So between him and Eddie, they would listen to them and keep doing different things. And finally, they would come up with the one that really had the sound. And I remember I went to one recording session for Genie, Genie, Genie. And that was the longest recording session I ever went to, because that song, I hated it for a while because that's all I had dreamt about was Genie, Genie, Genie. It was just crazy to get through that whole recording session, but it turned out good at the end, but I didn't think they'd ever end it.
Yeah, it's a musician thing, we have to be focused on all these little details. Or producer thing, like it's the little details make up the song at the end. Yeah, I love that song, Genie, Genie, Genie. I remember that I played it as a kid, when I just started playing. I always loved that one. And Stray Cats covered that song. Have you ever met any of those guys?
No, I haven't. No.
They were the ones that kind of brought attention to Eddie Cochran's music a lot back in the early 80s. And of course, British rockabilly bands before that. Were you, like, did any of those guys, like not just the Stray Cats, like any of those guys like contact you over the years, or bass players that, wanted to pick up these crazy stories?
No, I don't know if they're bass players, but a lot of them ask me questions that I don't know the answer to.
Oh, okay. It was a long time ago.
Like what kind of strings was it? I don't know what kind of strings they were. It was whatever was on the bass when I bought it,
Oh, okay.
On my upright, we didn't, I just barely out of high school. I wasn't out of high school yet. So it was, things were wonderful back then.
Yeah. So you started playing bass. First you started playing steel, right?
Yeah.
Steel guitar, and then you switched to bass?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember when?
Long time ago.
Okay. Do you remember why? What influenced you to start playing bass?
I don't know it's when I started junior high, and I signed up to be in the orchestra. So that's where I found the bass. And I liked it. And
so the orchestra was first, and then rock and roll bass was after that. So you started playing.
We didn't rock and roll with the orchestra, no.
Yeah, okay. And then shortly after you started playing rock and roll bass.
Yeah. Well, it was a few years, but
okay.
Didn't just happen because I was in the orchestra at the high school too. So I went 2 years and a little bit more in the high school, and then then we quit, and then we went to Vegas and played for a couple of weeks, and yeah. But yeah, that's.
Was that knowledge that you got like from at the school and the orchestra helpful when you started playing rock and roll?
No,
it was not helpful.
I don't believe so. It's because I just, I don't remember that part. I just learned how to do it. I guess myself. I guess.
So it was like a completely new instrument.
Yeah, I hadn't had one before. Yeah, I was. But yeah, it was new.
I think what's funny is he really doesn't like to read music. He likes to play by ear, and he does it very well. He's got a good tone. I'm tone deaf. I mean, I can hit the bad notes, but he knows how to play them. He knows how to tune. He's just really good at the sound. So making his own music was good. He didn't have to read the music.
Did they ever ask you like to choose like your favorite trick or a riff or like a take that they in the studio?
Yeah,
for you.
No. I didn't ask me anything. No.
They didn't
I just sat there and behaved myself.
Oh, okay. They didn't want to know like, oh, what would girls like these days? Like, so choose the take. I'm usually like when people are in the studio, sometimes you want to know like, other people's opinion. Like, what do you think? But you usually hate the song after hearing it for 1,000 times or something. What would you say, like, do you remember who were your bass influences back then in the 50s? Was there anybody in particular that influenced your style?
I was trying to think about that. I remember there was a band. It was the Maddish Brothers and Rose. It's an old country band, rockabilly, I guess they called them. But they were a wild bunch. But the Fred guy that played the bass, he was really he was an exciting guy. I like to watch him, and maybe I get hooked by him. But they're all gone.
Yeah, Maddox were a fun band for sure, with lots of slap bass.
It was a family.
Yeah. I know.
It was you know them, huh? You know who they are.
I mean, I know their music. I never met any of them.
Yeah, I probably didn't either, but we used to. Yeah, that's where we went to play sometimes. We would go. They had a car dealer in Huntington Park.
Oh yeah.
Cal
Worthington.
A car dealer, and like on the weekends they would have music in the inside the building and like in the shop area or somewhere like that in the building, and they would have a lot of people come and listen to the music there. They have different bands come in and play music, and that was they don't do that no more either.
Times are different. I believe that Fred Maddox was playing slap bass for the Maddox family.
Yeah.
He was the guy. So would you say that he was your main slap bass influence?
That's all I can remember about. I think about because I really don't know because I know I didn't do the slap into school, but when I would take it home, maybe that's probably who I started learning how to do the slap part. So, but
and how about like Bill Black from Elvis's band or Marshall Lytle from Bill Haley's? Were you aware of them back then, or?
Well, I never seen them.
Oh, okay.
They weren't. Maybe you could hear the music, but you wouldn't never see them. Oh, I didn't ever see them.
And was there anybody else in Los Angeles that you were aware of playing slap bass back then?
No, it wasn't really.
Huh. It's like so interesting that like to hear all of that. Um, I think that at one point, like James Kirkland moved like with Ricky Nelson in LA, and he was playing some slap, but that might be a little like 57 or something. I'm not exactly sure, about a year. But he also had like some cool slap. And when did you start playing electric bass?
Had to be about 58, I guess. 58. No, 58. What's it? My bass is a 57. I got it in 57, the bass and the amplifier, both. So I guess I started playing in 57.
Do you still have the bass?
I do.
Oh,
and
wow.
The amp.
And the amp?
And the amp.
That's that's the bass and the amp that you used for Eddie Cochran's recordings?
Yes.
Like which ones? Tell me. Tell the audience.
Well, I know it's Summertime Blues for sure. A lot of
All of those.
yeah, you can't. I can't remember all of them, but I just can't remember.
Something
But
else.
you know, the ones that rock.
That's so cool. And what kind of bass is that?
It's a P bass, precision, and have a basement amp, the 410 speakers. The first trip we took, we went up to San Francisco, played in a big auditorium, and blew out the speakers.
Oh, on that
So
amp?
yeah, we just made a trip up there and back. So when we come back, I took the amp over to the Fender place, and they fixed the speakers for me. But that's the only. I think after that, we didn't blow them out no more, but control myself, I guess.
Do you still play? Do you still play occasionally?
I look at it. I still have it sitting over here in the corner, but well, you know, for the thinking the museum in LA, there's a bunch of museums, but the Grammy Museum. They were getting the stuff of instruments and paraphernalia from the 50s, and Pat Ortink, he somehow he hooked me up, and they took my bass, just my bass, and they had a exhibit they were going to have in England at the Beatles Museum in wherever that is. I can't think of the name of it, but they
Liverpool,
England. That's right, Beatles Museum, and they took my bass and they said about 60 or 70 different items from the 50s era, and they took it over there for 2 years, and then they wrote me back and said, well, we'd like to keep it one more year. I said, okay, we'll keep it one more year. It was over there with, it was in a glass case. It was with, had B.B. King's guitar, Ray Charles jacket, I believe. It had Gene Vincent's amplifier. Had
Eddie Cochran's handwritten music to Summertime Blues.
Oh yeah, I was really happy to be with all those people because it was there for 3 years, and then they finally brought it back, and it was still in good shape. I was glad to get it back though.
So from all these items that you mentioned, I would be the most excited to see your bass. So
yeah,
I'm glad you got it back.
Yeah, but with those people, you know, with the people that I thought about a lot about them.
Yes. Is it too much to ask, like, to see that bass? Like, can you show it to us, or it's
no, it's in a it's. I'm getting it set up better and some new strings on it, so it's in the shop right now. I
ah
thought
okay.
I thought I would have it back by now, but it didn't make it yet.
Yeah, we
Okay.
thought we were gonna pick it up yesterday, but it didn't work.
Oh, okay. Next time then. I noticed that you played with the capo, right?
Yes.
On electric.
Yes,
It was on the first fret, or were you changing?
different. Whoever you would change it with the keys, whatever. You know how that works. You know.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
how that works.
I do, but I never played with the capo on electric bass. I do not, to be honest, I don't play electric bass that often. But when I do, I never used capo on it. And I
Well,
thought that was a little different. You know, I
weird,
haven't
weird.
seen. Not weird. There's
It's a
nothing
little
weird.
different, that's why.
People ask me about that a lot, and that's what I use. That's how I played back then. It was. I'm not sure why, but there's a reason I know.
And have you seen anyone else doing it, or you just did that yourself?
I never seen nobody else do it,
Okay,
but I did.
that's all that matters. So on any of those like recordings, like Eddie Cochran recordings, were you using capo? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember, but I know I did.
Okay. Yeah, those things are interesting to know. And besides you and Eddie Cochran, was there any other permanent member of that band?
What?
Besides you, in Eddie Cochran's band, was there anybody else that was a permanent member?
Not on the recordings, but no, there was, but I can't remember when it happened, but I guess when we started, somehow this other band, they were,
Augustine.
yeah, Dick D'Augustine and the Swingers. They started working with us, but I was still the bass guy. But that's the group that went with us to Oklahoma. Part of them, but I don't remember much about that.
There really wasn't a band except just you and Eddie.
Yeah. Okay.
And do you remember, since you were there the longest, what was did you have like a favorite lineup of the band, or it was kind of similar? You like a favorite drummer to play with, for example?
No, well, the best was Earl Palmer. So, but that was this on all the recordings. He was there most of the recordings. But
yeah, he was amazing. How did that collaboration come? Like, was that since he was a mostly session guy, right?
Yeah, but yeah, we had to join the union to make the records. You know, had to be in the union. So if they needed somebody, that's where they went to get people. And but that's all I remember.
So you guys wanted him in particular, or it was just that he was the one available?
Well, I think they wanted him. He was real popular, but once you had him work with you, you would probably call him back again. You know,
I would say that he was also important for the sound of those early recordings.
Yeah.
Was he ever tour with you?
No.
So
No.
do you remember who was the drummer for the touring band? Somebody that we might know?
No, like I said, the only band that toured was with that.
Dick Augustine.
The one that I told you about, Dick D'Augustine.
Ah,
that was that I know of. See, they come along when I was going out, but no, they weren't any. Most of the places we went was just me and Eddie, and they would use a drummer who who was there, whatever band was there, he would just use them and me.
And so it would be a trio usually? It would be a
No.
trio usually? A three-piece?
Yeah, they would. Yeah, but it wasn't any. Yeah, that was about it.
You know, I wish
Crazy.
I ever had a chance
Crazy.
like to see something like that. That must have been wild and crazy. What do you think, Marilyn? Was it?
It was
How was
wild
it?
and crazy. They were good. They it's funny to think about. I never thought about it, that there wasn't really a band. It was just the two of them and a drummer. But that's how it was. It was just Eddie and Con and a drummer, and that was it. And they seemed to do okay. Everybody liked them.
Were they loud?
Oh yeah. That's why I have to wear hearing aids now, because my ears are gone from that. And that's what they said. It was from the rock and roll music back in the 50s.
Wow. But was it worth it? It's worth it,
It
right?
was worth every minute of it. Yes.
That's what I want to hear. That those times were magical and special.
My favorite music.
Oh, absolutely, mine too. Do you have any favorite songs that you recorded with Eddie, or with other people, or with other band leaders that you played with?
No other favorites. No, just of course Guybo's my favorite.
Oh, of course. Tell me a little bit about that song. How did that song come up? Did it just came one day and said, "Hey, I wrote a song for you," or like how did that go?
Yeah, I guess it was something like that. 'Cause I don't know. We just played it and recorded it, and that's how it happened. So,
how did you feel? Like, I mean, I would say it's a big honor, right? I mean, you guys were friends, but
yeah,
it's
still
amazing.
Yeah, it was good to see that, but wouldn't hear it. But it was yeah, it's all good. Yeah,
People still play it, cover it often.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find it on YouTube.
YouTube, yeah, that's well back when we recorded everything, I guess all I ever got for pay was the union,
whatever the union paid.
For the recording. They would say a 3-hour session, and but now it's been about 5 or 6 years now. I've been getting some royalty thing from when the songs play on the AM radios, or when the songs play on radios, but it's not the pay channels. It's the regular. I get a little token of a check every once in a while from the time they play the records.
And those are like performers' rights, or were you writing any music?
No, I didn't write nothing. No, but it's just for being on the record and when it plays. But it was, and they started. It was this in the States, and then they started paying money for England and France and stuff like that too. But still, it's not a hunk of money, but it's a token. It's from ASCAP that pays. ASCAP.
It should be a lot of money because you made a history, you know? Like so many people were influenced by those records. But
Yeah, I can't believe it. He's still so popular in England now. You know, we had a guy come from England. Him and his wife came over, and they went to Wisconsin, where they have a big annual deal there for Eddie every year, and then we have the one here every year. They have but he's just not that popular in the States. Eddie was not, but he's still so popular in England and other countries over there.
I would say that his music will never die. I mean, and you're playing so with it. I think it made rock and roll history. So it's here to stay forever. So I think that's huge. It's really important for even nowadays music. I mean, I think that without those recordings, music would be different. Do you remember, like, when you were touring with him? Do you remember any interesting things that were happening back then?
No, not really. It was just it was an experience, but it was yeah, that's about all I can say. But we would play a show and probably stay in a hotel that night, and then get up early in the morning, and they would drive to another town, and that's where that Guybo happened, because there was about 3 or 4 bands, and it was the pick on the bass player night, I think, or the day, and they started making up names and stuff, and I ended up, that's where Guybo happened. Guybo was born on the bus somewhere out there on the road.
That's so cool. And those tours, were they like mostly like one of those, like a package tours when like a few major artists go, or it was headlining band and opening bands type of thing?
It's just a lot of good people, yeah, good bands, but it's I don't think they do that anymore.
Well, that particular one was Fats Domino was the main headliner, and there was Buddy Holly and the Crickets were on it, and there were oh gosh,
a lot of people.
Was the black guy that just recently died. Anyhow, there was a lot of good stars on that show. If you ever look it up, the biggest show of stars of '57, Alan Freed. It's got a lot of good stars on it.
Yeah, those shows would, never happen again. Was that Little Richard by any chance?
Yeah,
was it Little Richard on that tour?
I think so, but we all didn't go on the same bus. There was a lot of people, a lot of buses, I think.
Wow. And how did you feel? So was Eddie Cochran like the biggest star from all of them at that time, or was it just like everybody was kind of equal?
Yeah, I think it was pretty well equal. Yeah, it was just a lot of good people.
Were you excited to tour with, all these big names? Were you friends like with Buddy Holly and like, Fats Domino and any of them as well?
No, sometimes we would be in the, I don't know. No, we weren't real friends. I mean, we were friends while we was together, but we weren't together enough. Yeah.
They were passing acquaintances.
But it's, I think that those were I mean, amazing tours. Like, you know, like every single big star was on it. And, you know, when I check out some videos, it's just amazing. Have you seen the movie La Bamba with Brian Setzer acting as Eddie Cochran?
No.
Yeah,
No.
I saw. Yes, it's different.
How different? Tell me.
Well, I just couldn't see it myself, but I don't know. Eddie's just one of a kind. I couldn't figure out. I couldn't make him. I don't know. That was just me.
What did you think about the movie? What did you think about the movie?
About
La
the
Bamba.
movie.
The movie was okay. It was a good movie. They were so sad. I mean, those kind of movies are sad movies because the ending isn't good. But when I saw the person that played Eddie, it didn't really seem right to me. But that's okay.
Did you like? I mean, the movie is obviously about Richie Valens. Did you ever have a chance like to meet him?
I did meet him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Was
did.
he on one of those tours?
We met him at Pacific Ocean Park one time with a bunch of people, and I don't really remember much about it except
that would be an amusement park.
Amusement park here in Santa Monica, and they used to go there and play once in a while at. That was 100 years ago too. I don't remember much about it except just you hear the name and you know that's somebody you're glad you got to meet.
I bet that's. I mean, again, those times were magical, and so you never went on tour with Eddie outside of the States besides Canada, right?
Yeah, that's the only place I went.
Okay. And when did that when he went on that last tour in England, did you guys have any plans like to continue playing together after that, or were you already done by then?
Yeah, I don't think we didn't have no more plans. I don't think. I thought he would probably still be going if he hadn't had that wreck. You know.
How did you hear about those terrible news?
It was hard. It was a hard day I don't think he ever got over it myself because they were such good friends. I mean, we spent so much time at their house with their family, his mom and dad and sisters, and it was really hard to know that he was gone because that wasn't supposed to happen. But so it really hit us hard.
And you heard about it on the news, or it was okay?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
No.
One of the worst days in music history, I would say.
Yes.
In rock and roll. And besides Eddie, I know that you play you played a little bit with Johnny Burnett, right? Was there just in the studio?
Johnny or Darcy? It was a recording. I don't know if it was Johnny or yeah, it was recording. That was all, just a recording.
Oh, okay. And that's it. That's at the Gold Star?
I think we went to Capitol for that one.
Oh, okay.
Capitol Records. Yeah. No, Eddie. Somehow Eddie got it, and I went with him, and that's how. I don't know. I don't remember that part, but I know we did go to Capitol Records a couple times, I think.
And you played
most of the recording was the Gold Star.
Okay.
Most of the recording. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I think that the song "Remember" and "Freedom" were recorded at the Gold Star with Johnny Burnett, and
Okay. Could be.
I guess that was also that was in Santa Monica, right?
No, Hollywood.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure about that. I know
Yeah,
that it was. No. Yeah, it was Santa Monica Boulevard.
and something else.
Yes. And on that particular recording, there was also Joe Mathis on guitar. Do you remember playing with him?
No.
Yeah, I would say he was one of the best guitar players back then. And then, it's interesting like to see both Joe Mathis and Eddie Cochran and you and Earl Parmill on the same recordings.
I know there was a Glenn Campbell played one time with us on a recording. Glenn Campbell?
Yep.
He played at one recording session. But, yeah.
So besides Eddie Cochran, I know that you played with Glenn as well. Were you a steady member of the band or just as a studio guy?
No, we just recorded in a couple songs one time. But we played together in other areas, but never steady with Glenn. No.
Were you touring with him?
No.
No? Okay. And I mentioned earlier when we were talking that you also recorded that song "New Shoes" with Lee Denson, and that was also with Eddie Cochran on guitar. But you don't remember that session, huh?
But it's possible. We recorded with a lot of different people that I don't remember, but it just, yeah.
Is there any session that you remember in particular from besides Eddie Cochran's?
No.
I wasn't there, so I can't help you out on those.
And let's get back a little bit to upright bass, since most of our audience is upright bass players. So that bass that you played on Eddie Cochran's recordings, do you still have that one? Upright bass.
Yes.
You still have that one as well?
Yes, I do. That's the one that's getting repaired right now.
Ah, okay.
It's not repaired. What's getting new strings and a bridge adjustment and a tune-up.
Ah, okay. Oh, but the electric bass is here. Yeah, electric bass is still
here.
Oh, can you show us that one? Is that too much to ask?
Let me go get it.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I know that people would be excited to see it if it's not too much to ask, of course.
Yes.
Is there any other memory that you can share with us, from those old days?
Oh, gee. It was just, I guess it was just an exciting time back then. You don't think about it. Like my daughter said, "Mom, why didn't you tell us that Dad was so exciting?" Because, back then we never thought about telling the kids about that stuff. But now that that they're older and we have grandkids, they think it's exciting that their grandpa and their dads was in that 50s rock and roll stuff. So it's kind of fun.
He was creating history.
Yes, he was creating history. Yes, he was.
Were you aware of that back then, that was so important, or not?
No, it just seemed like it was just our life. It was just our everyday way it was. We just have a lot of music going on in the house and having him go places, and here he comes with his bass. Okay.
All right. That's the one. That's the legendary bass. It just
yeah. There's where's it going? I'm going the wrong way, huh?
Yeah. The capo is still not is not on there. Okay, that's the one.
The capo's gone.
Yeah. But the bass is there. Awesome. Thanks so much for showing us.
Got a few scratches in the back, but not too bad.
You just put it a little bit more central so that we can see the whole thing, maybe horizontal.
Horizontal, that way?
Yes.
Do it that.
Just lift it up. Yes.
Take it off. There it goes.
Exactly.
Got the plug out on the edge. The other models have it up back here, don't they?
Yes. That's a cool instrument for sure.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one of our friends that plays upright bass. She's a good bass player. She had to get one of these electric basses just like Con, so she could have one like his because she liked his bass so much. But she's a slapper.
It's a well, those are legendary instruments.
Yeah.
Were you and Con, were you aware of that you were creating music history back then, or it was just everyday kind of like just regular hanging with friends?
Just another day. We had no idea what was going on. We're young.
So when Eddie brought those songs like Something Else and Summertime Blues and Come On Everybody and those songs, did you had any idea that those songs would be like more popular than the others, that they would be influencing generations to come?
No, because we would go to his house after he would be writing something, and we'd go to his house and play them, try to work them out, and then we'd go record them. But I didn't have nothing to do with the writing at all. I was just there.
And what do you think about all those covers from these songs, like especially, I mean, like Sex Pistols, Sid Vicious, like all those punk rock recordings, like that covered Eddie Cochran stuff? What do you think about that?
I don't know. It's just not the same for me.
Yeah, definitely not the same. But those songs kind of like, I mean, especially Eddie Cochran's music influenced, punk rock so much. There was kind of like I don't know, like every punk rock band was influenced by Eddie Cochran and those particular songs. Yeah. All right, let's get back to the upright bass. So you said that you don't remember what kind of strings were you using. You don't remember the brand, or were they gut strings or steel strings?
They were steel.
They were steel strings.
That's the reason I always put tape on my fingers when we go do the sessions, because I would get blisters. But nowadays they have gut strings and other different kind of strings, and they're easier to play. I've played a couple of people's basses a little bit, and it's so much different. But like I say, that was back in 60 years ago.
So the strings? Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
And the strings on the bass that you have are still, they're not the ones from the 50s, right?
No, I had him changed, because once when I wasn't playing and my bass sit in the garage, it started coming apart. The edges or the seam. So I took it to a bass place, repair, and they put on some different strings, but they screwed it up too. So, but I was just so happy to get it back. I didn't pay attention to what it was going on with it, and but it's getting fixed better now, I hope.
Did you throw away those
I'd like to try to play it some more at home. I don't want to play out nowhere, but I would like to try to see if I can still play it. You know,
Yeah,
He wants to slap again.
exactly. We want to see you slap again. So back in the 50s, you were playing steel strings, and you played steel string through your whole career with Eddie
with that bass, yeah,
on upright bass.
yeah, because I didn't know there was anything different back then. I don't think they had different kind of strings back then. They could have, but I never looked for them because it was fine. They worked fine for what I was doing, I think, at the time.
And so you played with Eddie until about 58, 59?
Yeah.
Yeah, 58.
Yeah, we got married in December of 58. So he probably 59.
No, we didn't play it afterwards.
No. Yeah.
Was
Early
Eddie in the
59.
wedding?
No, he wasn't.
He was probably
And
gone.
so-
He was probably gone on the road somewhere.
And after the after you stopped playing with Eddie, who were you playing with after that?
Just some friends I knew. It wasn't nobody special. I mean, they were special to me, but they weren't. You know, they was just we were playing in bars. It was a little experience. I kept playing a little bit. I didn't play too much because, like I say, I had got married and I got a regular job, and because that's what happened. I had to settle down.
And so, but during over time, like, were people asking you like, hey, can you play? Can you just join us? Or like, will people? I mean, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, like, was there any interest that you were thinking like, well, maybe I should go back to the music business?
No, I just sort of got out of that. I don't know, just lost interest, I guess.
Well, I was excited to see you play when you played at Eddie Cochran's club last year before.
That was exciting. It was.
It was a great night, like lots of great acts, and it was a fun one. And that place is in Bellflowers as well, right?
Bell Gardens, yeah.
Bell Gardens.
Yeah. And you were rehearsing at that place? Why is that place called Eddie Cochran's Club?
I think they just did that just because that's just as an honor to him. The Cochran Club, yeah. The American Legion Hall is now the Cochran Club, yeah.
But is there any connection? Were you guys performing over there ever in the 50s, or were they rehearsing or anything?
I don't remember it, but maybe we were. But like I said, it's been a long time, but I don't recall that place.
Yeah, because I don't remember them practicing there either, but maybe they did, or maybe it was in somebody's dream. But Eddie's, where he lived, where the American Legion Hall is, a street that goes straight down from there is where Eddie lived, just a block away from the American Legion Hall. So, but if they say they practice there, hey, who's to say they didn't?
That's well, it's a cool that they honored Eddie and you, like, I mean, like for all of these years, and then people still go there and then enjoy Eddie Cochran's music like everywhere else in the world. But Eddie Cochran's Club is pretty cool. Do you remember any clubs or like in Los Angeles that you were playing? Were those shows that you played with Eddie, or were they like smaller or like a big time shows in LA as well?
I can't remember, but there weren't no big shows.
No.
I can't remember, but there was places that they had bands all the time. I think were there, but we just the bands just traded off, play here a week and or a couple of days, and go to the next band and play. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. All right, I have like just a couple more questions. We've already passed like 1 hour. It's great like talking to you. I could do this for days. And I forgot to ask you about that bass, the upright bass. Do you know what kind of bass it was? That was it K or
K
bass?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the one that you got when you started playing the orchestra, and you kept it through the all these years.
No, I bought that after this. No, the one in the orchestra was a school spec bass.
Ah, okay.
They wouldn't let me take it.
Oh, okay. Which bass were you dragging home, like from the school?
Yeah,
School
yeah.
bass? Ah,
Yeah. Until I bought the bass.
I got it. And you still have that one. That's amazing.
Yes, that's the one.
It was old when I got it too. I mean, it wasn't new when I bought it.
Okay.
So I don't know how old it is, but it's probably about my age.
That should be in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or somewhere like that.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Is there anything you would like to add?
I've said more than I thought I ever would say now, but no, it's.
Well, I'm really thankful. How about you, Marilyn? Would you like to add something?
No, it's just been a pleasure meeting you and listening to all of your stories, and you're good. You're good at it. We enjoyed watching you play. You're a good bass player.
Thanks so much. It means a lot to me. And thank you, Con. Thank you, Marilyn, for being a part of the Slapstream. I'm sure that our audience love this, and they're gonna keep watching and keep learning, and that new kids are gonna be more aware about your playing and your influence. So thanks a lot for your time, and I hope to see you play and slap that bass again.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thanks so much, and hopefully see you soon.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye. All right, guys. That's another 17th episode of the Slapstream with Djordje, live from Slapsville. And I want to thank again Connie Guaybo Smith and his lovely wife Marilyn Smith for joining us and sharing all these stories that you can't hear these stories anywhere else, so only here. So I'm really excited. I was really excited to hear them, and I'm sure that you are as well. And so special thanks to them, and I would like to thank you for joining us and for your continued support. And I'll keep doing this as long as I can. If you'd like to support us, please check out the links below. PayPal, Venmo, and especially Patreon. I would like also to thank our designer, Fernando from Buenos Aires, who is now Fernando from Spain. He just moved there a couple weeks ago, for designing all these little things and video and everything. And without him, Slapstream would not look as cool as it does right now. And make sure to subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. There's like tons of new content coming up. If you're not on an email list, send an email at contact@artofslapbass.com, and we'll add you, and you'll be informed about future slap streams. And don't forget, never fret. Slide it in smooth and keep it in the groove. This is Djordje, your neighborhood Wolfville cat. I'll see you next Saturday.